Hey, good evening. How are y'all on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday? Shout out in the building. Hello, Nope. Nope says there's no Epstein list, and the lie detector said that was a lie. Already. We're never going to see that list. I don't know. I feel like we've seen the list, but they're never going to put it out on the mainstream so that everybody can see it. They've tried to do the best that they could to shut it down, claiming that QAnon was this big farce and they're lying. But as we've seen over and over again, everything that they said has been it's been coming to the forefront. And mysteriously, the people that were on those lists, the ones that were supposed to be going to Gitmo because of their crimes against humanity, a lot of them had mysterious deaths. I mean, people that you wouldn't even think of. I didn't even know anything about Fred the Godson until I seen his name on the list. And then next thing I know, he dies of so-called COVID. I was like, A lot of senators that I saw whose names were on there are now passed away. Um, yeah. Again, as I've seen people who were on that list that moved far, far away. They moved far away where extradition laws couldn't get them. Saw those names. But hey, what did we expect, right? What did we expect? So I hope you guys had a good week. I want to say I want to say a few things. First of all, forgive me. My Saturdays the last couple weeks have been absolutely off, and I have missed reading through the Bible. So please forgive me. Um, I don't know if Saturdays are going to work just because it's like just a weird day. You kind of just slink into the day, and I'm usually doing a lot of writing on that day and researching. So, but I have thoughts for reading through the Bible. It's going to probably be a lot more frequent than what I've been doing. So, shout out to the Patreon family. Thank you so much for the support. Each and every month. I hope you guys like the videos, the deep dives. Shout out to those who comment on the YouTube, who watch the videos, who keep everything going, because I know I'm shadow banned in a lot of places, a lot of content. So I want to kick it off tonight. What's going on? Listen, I love to see a familiar face. So good to see you in the building. So good to see you in the building. Greek letter woman. What sorority news you got? Poor, get poor. What else? I don't know why you're so hung up on that. I was very transparent from the beginning about that. And again, I do not associate myself with it whatsoever. And I have not in over 16 something years. And even those who knew me in the organization, although I may be still friends with them, they don't bring it up to me. Unless it's just someone that I haven't come across yet to let them know that I don't associate it with it anymore. So, yeah, I don't know why you're so hung up on that. Anyways, there was a conversation, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out, but it's all the talk of the town this week. And it was Barack Obama sitting down on Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson's podcast. And I took the liberty of watching it because there were people that were starting to say that what Obama said was taken out of context. So I'm going to let you know what happened, and then we're going to listen to it. And I want you to be the judge if you felt like people were right in saying that he was trying to once again promote a homosexual agenda onto the children. So first things first, when they opened up, Michelle and her brother Craig, they start having a conversation, and Obama starts opening it up, and he's talking a lot about his absent father. And he starts going into the fact that he was raised by a single mother, and he really, really relied heavily on that fact. And he was saying that what he liked about he asked Craig what it was like to have a father. And Craig started talking, Mr. Craig Robinson started talking about how his father would take him around to different places, teach him different things. He would take him around to meet different men, like in the barbershop. So he was meeting doctors and just learning a lot of things about how to be a man. And so that's when Obama, when it was his turn, he started talking about how he was raised by a single mother. His dad wasn't there. And he went right into the fact that his mom started expressing her feelings a lot to him. So she started she started pressing her feelings a lot onto him, but he also said that he was allowed to speak about his feelings to her. But it wasn't a problem-solving conversation as Craig Robinson was expressing that he was having with his father. When he would have issues, he said, matter of fact, he said that he didn't really have problems with emotions because whenever he felt anything, he would always take it to his father, and his father would give him solutions. Whereas Obama, once again, him and his mother were pretty much, and I hate to say it, but they were doing as what people say women do, and they said that women trauma bond with each other. So when we're talking to each other, we're just like emotions everywhere, and we're really not trying to problem solve. Now, whether that's true or not, I'm not saying right now. I'm just saying that that's what people say. So he goes on to say that that was the difference with with him growing up with a single mom and Craig and him being and having a dad. And so Michelle starts going into the fact that men are suffering from loneliness. And so she was asking, she said, because Barack has done a good job of maintaining his friendships, how he did that. How was it that he was able to take his friends that he's known since the White House or college and still be able to interact with them today? And he said, because they were saying because most guys only have a couple of friends. And I guess Craig and Obama were really agreeing that once again, you should be taking men around other men. Okay, so you can just see this conversation start building up and building up and building up. So Michelle then asked, what is it that we can teach our mothers so that they can raise men? She said, because the issue is right now, there's a lot of mothers that are raising children alone. So, and they're always being told that they don't know how to raise a man. So what is it that we can teach men what is it that we can teach women that they can teach men? And so Barack, once again, he starts going into, well, you need to have different type of men around because men grow up and they have different inclinations. And he actually used that word, different inclinations. He said, even if there's a man in the home, and I started writing down literally word for word what he was saying, because I said, I don't want to miss this. He said, even if there's a man in the home, there still needs to be men quote unquote assets in the community, places of worship, community organizations where there's a bunch of men who can be sort of elders. He said, sort of elders to the boys. Now, I'm gonna put a pin in it right there because I thought that was very, very telling that he used the words community organizer. Because if you're not familiar, before he became a senator, he was a community organizer. And I'm actually gonna hopefully AI hasn't changed the definition, but it sounds like something that is this positive thing, and it is. But pretty much his job is to get people together and influence decisions. So he is able. I don't know if you guys notice. He speaks really, really well. His rhetoric is really, really good. And so if you're not listening carefully to what he's saying, you just fall into the eloquence of what he's saying. And again, I'm about to play this video here in a second. You fall into the eloquence of what he's saying, and then next thing you know it, you got gay marriage in the United States. And I'm not even saying that to be facetious against the LGBT. I'm just saying that is exactly what this whole conversation is about. So their job is to get people together and pretty much influence decisions. Okay. So he says community organizer. Once again, where was I at? Okay, sort of elders to the boys. So they are not just looking at one particular role model, but many. That's what I think boys need, not just exposure to one guy, one dad. No matter how good that dad is, he can't be everything. And they might need someone to give the boy the perspective of the dad. Okay. That's what he goes on to say. Let me play this video. So that is the conversation building up to this point right here. Okay. That's what this is. And this is pretty long, so not pretty long, but it's a few minutes. I'm gonna kind of start it and stop it. I don't want to get copyrighted, but we'll kind of discuss things here and there. But I want you to hear what he says.
Alone or whether she has a husband. But I do think that mothers struggle to figure out what do their sons need. And so they wind up operating out of their own fears and their own instincts, which is to love unconditionally. I think mom was like this. She raised me to be tough because I think she knew what it was like to be a woman. In her mind, she knew what she was preparing me for. The insults, the limitations, the whatever you
The sexism, the biases.
sexism, the biases. So she knew you have to have a mouth. You have to be able to speak up
Right.
for yourself. With you, she wanted you to be nice so that you wouldn't get in trouble or you
Right.
wouldn't get arrested. But was that who you were? So what do we say to the Emmas of the world? How do we sort of start thinking as a society about helping mothers?
Right.
Raise sons because they're doing it alone, and we're being told that we don't have what it takes to give boys all of what they need.
Well, look, I think you started hinting at it. As somebody who was raised by a single mom, not perfectly, but that unconditional love as a start is the right one.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, though, thinking about raising boys in the same way you're thinking about raising daughters, which is how do you make them good, responsible people who know how to function and know how to understand themselves well enough that they can navigate this really complicated world and setting high expectations. So there are a lot of these things that apply to boys and girls. I do think that there are some particular issues with boys that as a society we're not addressing. I do think as a society we have to create more structures for boys and men to have guidance, rituals, frameworks, encouragement, to be able to meet a wide range of role models so that whatever their inclinations, they can see a path to success that isn't just sports or money, making a lot of money. And so that's on all of us together. What I would say to Emma would be, in your community, even if you have a wonderful male partner who's in the house, I think it still would be good to find assets in the community, people in the community, friends in your community, places of worship, community organizations, what have you, where there are a bunch of men who can be sort of elders to boys. And so they're not just looking at one particular role model, but many. And one of the things when Michelle and I first started dating and I'd go over to your guys' house, one of the things I loved was just, seeing all your uncles and your cousins. And there were a bunch of different kinds of men. There were men that were kind of soft-spoken, and then there were men that were loud, and there were men who were engineers, and then there were men who were
police officers,
or they drove a jitney cab, right? And that's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
One dad.
No matter how good the dad is.
He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And then that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't out of line, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right. So that I think is.
All right, y'all. That's what he said. That was, again, the conversation leading up to what he said. Now, from that context, do you think he's out of line for suggesting that men need to put a gay male in the friend group so in case their son is gay or non-binary? Matter of fact, I'm gonna drop. Do you think of course I understand what he's saying. But I think everyone's question is, man, it's just so hard. He has one agenda and his opinion stems from him being married to a man. You know, I just don't know what it is. He's just constantly pushing this and pushing this and pushing this. And I think that's where people are coming from. I don't know if there would be so much back. Well, no, I think there would still be backlash because again, everybody sees the agenda and they're sick and tired of it. But I think that they see the agenda from the same person. Because remember, and I meant to grab the picture and I didn't, but it was one of the very first pictures that I posted when I started the Me and Epiphany IG. And that was the White House being lit up in rainbow colors. And around that same time is when, oh, I think that was the time when he was passing gay marriage. And what a lot of people don't know is that the clause that's in the military documents where I believe that repeals the don't ask, don't tell, it also some kind of crazy way, and I'll have to pull it up again because I actually haven't pulled it up in years, but I do remember seeing it. It allows for bestiality in the military. And so these are the type of Pandora boxes that Obama opened up when he started letting all this stuff in. And remember, at first it was just, oh, we just want to have this civil marriage. We just want to have the same rights just in case our loved one is in the hospital. We want to be able to go and see them and not get stopped at the door. Absolutely. And I think people were in agreement with that. Yeah. There, and I even felt like there's no reason why you should be able to tell someone who and who they who and who they cannot put on their insurance. Like, no, if I want to put my homegirl on my insurance, I should be able to put my homegirl on my insurance. And so I don't see why the government was stepping in their business about that. So I understand that they were facing a lot. The community was facing a lot of issues with that, and I definitely don't agree. But again, once that happened, that's when the blur lines started happening with the word marriage. And so, yeah, and I'll come back up to the other comments. Just give me a second. You said people advocate for what they believe in. Absolutely. Absolutely. And someone else said that as well. I was watching another podcast and they were pretty much because it was only one person that was saying, that Obama was gay and everybody else was like, well, how do you know that? How do you know that? And that was one of the points that he made to why he felt that way. Because he was like, why would a straight man would not be advocating for that? It's not a conversation that's not straight men don't want to push their sons towards that. That's not the type of influence that they want. No, so his statement is a double standard and illogical. His logic is to poison the cup just in case someone wants to drink poison. Oh, absolutely. But he's always done that though. That's the thing. He's always done that. And I don't know if I've said this before on this channel, but I didn't know who Obama was when he was a senator. When he was this big hype and he started running for president, I didn't know who he was. I just remember that everybody was hype about it. But I did decide that I was going to watch the presidential elections. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was 2008. And I remember going to sit on the couch and I heard this voice saying, do not follow him. And in my mind, I'm like, what? Because again, I don't know this man. I just know the hype. I'm going to watch this presidential presidential debate so I can see who's who, what's what. And it was just like, do not follow him. And so ever since then, I sat back and I watched him and I just watched him and watched him to see why in the world I would hear this voice. And I've known why for a long time, but now I know why. How can a gay man police masculinity when he himself isn't masculine? That would be restricting homosexuality. Yeah, and again, this is just a follow-up from last week's conversation where you've got now they came in again. I watched this podcast because I wanted to make sure I got the context, but they came in all huggy and trying to dispel the rumors. But I'm just seeing this a lot. I'm seeing a lot where you've got gay men that are standing up and speaking for the heterosexual community. I've seen a lot of gay male dating coaches lately. Um, well, a lot meaning two, but for me, two is a lot because why are you have no idea about heterosexual relationships. So what is it that you're, and the women are just eating it all up. Um, there was something else I was going to say, but hopefully it comes back to me, but it's just crazy. Oh, that's what it is. The same way that I see a lot of trans-identified males stepping into women's spaces and speaking for women. It's like, whoa. We don't need you. We don't need you to speak for us because you don't know nothing about us. You've watched and observed, but being a woman is, and just like being a male, is a whole different thing. I said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to put this my conspiracy out there. They are not human. Hey, I can definitely see that. Said I might agree with you. Hey, good evening. Good evening. So we were going over the big uproar that is going on because Obama decided that he was going to go on to his wife's podcast that she has with her brother and tell the world that men need to put gay men in their circles just in case they have gay sons or non-binary sons. And a lot of people had a problem with that because they don't want that type of influence around their sons. Now, if their sons, boom, it happens. I mean, I don't know what dads do. I can't say, but it's not something that they want to push to the forefront. So they're not going to talk about it beforehand because I don't even want you thinking that way. We're just going to act like it doesn't happen until it happens. So, excuse me. So that's what's going on. He said, I didn't know he was either. He came out of nowhere. Conspiracy again. He doesn't have a father because he was grown in a lab. Google Obama, Akhenaten. You'll see the simulators. Yeah, I've seen that. There's a bust. If you're not familiar, there's a bust that I don't even know if they found it in Egypt or whatever, but it looks just like Obama, but it has the Egyptian head wrap on. So, yeah. Yeah. Although I think LGBT should stay out of the straight dating conversations, I will say having a gay man as a wingman is amazing. For some reason, y'all women will listen to a gay man. And yeah. Yeah, they like it. He said, dang. Can't remember her name, but a lady was at the White House and showed Bush Jr. the masks that are worn. She fooled him by wearing one before she told him. Oh, wow. Yeah, they can do a thing with these masks. They can make them so super thin that you would have no idea. Even though they said that Biden was wearing a mask for a long time. He probably still is. I was about to talk about him like he was dead. But yeah, so they're mad about that. And again, I'm not surprised because he's been showing those tendencies for a long time. And to me, it sounded like he was speaking for himself when he was like, we need we need different men around us. And then that's because he said that the gay man was the most valuable man to him. Now, granted, he said because he told him when he was acting ignorant, and I'm a little skeptical about that as well because they like to police you when you're not speaking positively about their community. So I don't know. When he says speaking ignorantly, I don't know what he means. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Let me come back to the first comments just so I don't lose them. But yeah, that's my piece on that. So if you weren't sure about what everybody was talking about, that's what happened. You said Michelle Obama is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a Greek letter sorority. I don't know. You said Alpha Kappa Alpha is historically Black Greek letter sorority founded in 1908 at Howard University. Yep, that's the history of it. I mean, again, see that was one of the things that annoyed me as well. I don't care about that information. It was stupid information to me. It was stupid I don't care to remember all the founders. And if you ask me while I'm out on the yard and I have my paraphernalia on and I don't have the answer, I forget one or two of the founders, you can take the clothes off my back. Like that type of stuff was stupid to me. And had I known that before, it wouldn't have been something I would have engaged in. He said, what the fudge?" Exactly. He's always talking about. So again, they keep on using him to slither him in like a Trojan horse because once again, people still love them some Obama. A lion can't teach a bear how to be a bear, and asking a gazelle how to teach a bear is just as worse. Exactly. And I think a lot, and I agree with Michelle in that regard because yeah, a lot of single mothers are raising children alone, and they do have boys, and you hear them wanting to be so they want to not even with their sons. Like at this very moment, I'm thinking about these women trying to get with men in relationships. They want the men to be women so bad. I'm like, why do y'all want them to be women so bad? He's got to be all soft and dainty and I was just like, what? And it's just so nauseating. But then if he wasn't soft, I mean, but if he was soft, or heaven forbid he gets into a situation and maybe gets into a fight and gets knocked out or something, you would not want that. You would call him all kinds of names for that type of situation. You would call him all types of names for being soft spoken and things like that. But you act like you just want him to be feelings, 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 feelings. And that was one thing that Michelle brought up. She was, because as the guys were talking back and forth, she said, one thing that I recognized is that y'all are not talking about feelings. And Craig, bless his heart, Craig was like, no. That's when he got into the conversation like, no, I didn't have time for that. If I had issues with my feelings, then I went and talked to my dad. And he gave me the solution for whatever I was feeling. And so I actually appreciated the conversation between Michelle and Craig because they kept on reiterating my mom and my dad, gave us the influence. My mom and my dad would take us around family, and we could see different things, and they really promoted the family heavy. Okay, let me catch back up. I'm glad Obama finally getting the public side out. Yeah. Yep. Putting them in front of the camera. My research shows that they're all under the same umbrella: religion, politicians, Hollywood. Hollywood provides the charade for all of them. Yeah, because they get to make movies and things like that, mocking these things and putting it in plain sight for us to see. And a lot of it is rituals. A lot of it is them actually doing the rituals within the movie, as they're recording and then putting it on camera for us to see, or putting it on the award shows, on certain nights. If you notice, the award shows are always held in accordance to what they believe in. So absolutely. And I just posted for y'all the Lolita thing. That is a sad, sad thing. But again, if those parents hadn't have known what Lolita was, then they would not have been able to call him out about it. And I hope that they were able to get rid of that guy. But I hope that nothing has happened, in the meantime. We don't know how long he's had that bus. We don't know how long he's been driving around. He said, that's why you talking about the Obamas for 30 minutes. I'm actually talking about the Obamas because people are upset because Obama is pushing an agenda. You were the one that told me that Michelle was an AKA. I don't care about it. So I did not know that. Push the agenda rabbit hole, I guess. I mean, you think what you want to think. To answer Michelle's question, put them boys in sports. Coaches and teachers were the closest thing to father figures. But the issue is mothers have to stop trying to control the whole situation. I know it, right? Have you seen? There's a video that with Marshawn Lynch that started going viral because they were at they were at football camp, and I guess he had some strong words with one of the young boys, and the mom had something to say about it. And he looked at her, he said, "Hey, is there a man around you? Like, where's the father at?" And she was like, "Why are you asking about the man? Why are you asking about his father?" He was like, "Because I want to be able to talk to him man to man about this rather than with you, because you're not going to understand it. You're not going to understand how men have to behave with other men." And I mean, that's just it. My coaches didn't talk to me the nicest. You know, when you're in sports and stuff like that, you're liable to get yelled at. So it's, I don't know. Like you said, they need to be around doing boy things, and it doesn't mean that you have to be in sports. That's not it at all. There's a lot of sciencey guys. There's a lot of techie guys. There's a lot of engineers and stuff out there. But to try to teach them how to be sassy is not it, is it? Listen, I'm trying to say nope. I hope so. Nope, because so is it that they can hear you and then respond back to you like an AI? Because I'm like, why are you talking about that? I don't care nothing about that. The only reason I bring that stuff up is to warn you guys about it, so you don't fall into the same trap. And you can do what you want. You can still go to a college and pledge a sorority or fraternity. You can still do it in undergrad or not undergrad. You can still do it post grad. That's your prerogative, but now you know. He said, "Yeah, that part. Why do They want them to be soft and have all these pronouns. I do respect Trump for saying there are only two genders. Yeah, and there's a lot of people cracking down, and I'm glad that the sports arena is cracking down as well. I feel like it's a little too late. I think a lot of girls got hurt and harmed from it. And I hate that they had to be the sacrifice. I can't even call them the sacrifice unless things are going to change now. Because there's a lot of there's a lot of schools that are still trying to sneak these men in. But yeah, God created two genders. Yeah. And I've been called hateful all week for having that conversation, but it's not even to be hateful. It's not to mean that you shouldn't be fed or clothed or loved or anything like that. It just means that there are males and there are females. And yes, there are some people that were born with ambiguous genital, I'm gonna say ambiguous, but both sets, but only one of them work. There are no true hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodite means that you're able to reproduce with both sexual reproductive systems. So when they keep trying to push that nonsense, don't let them do it. But anyways, yeah, everything is a ritual all the way down to the colors used to promote something, etc. Example, McDonald's. Yeah, red. Exactly. Like the sacrifice. Yeah, everything is Masonic as well. Mainstream. Yep. Sorry, y'all, I'm getting groggy. Let me take a little sip. So I think that's a perfect segue. Because I don't want to make it about them. I'm gonna make it about her. Meg the Stallion. Meg the Stallion. Have you seen it? Let me show you. Let me show you what she has going on right now. And I'm only going to show you a little bit because, to be quite honest, it's annoying what she's doing. Making all
Okay, I'm opening up the boo-boos that my man got me. Ooh, okay, I think that's how I go. I cannot believe my man got me these boo-boos! Okay. Let's see what
Have y'all heard of them? Never mind you, she's in her panties. And I don't use the word panties, but she's in her panties. Never mind that. But have y'all heard of these dolls? They're called Labubu's. Labubu, I think. And they are flying off the shelves, they say. These are flying into homes. But shout out to Miss Lowdown's channel. I've been watching her videos this week. She's got some pretty good stuff. And she was showing some really fascinating correlations. And she brought it to my attention that these little boo-boo dolls are being said to be a representation of this god called Pazuzu. Let me show y'all Pazuzu. So this god Pazuzu, we're gonna go over what this god is. But let me just show you him real quick. So this is what they're saying that this Labubu doll is a representation of. They said the face is the same. Now let me show you. I'm sorry, I forgot to. Let me show you the Labubu doll up close. Can I put both of these on the screen? Maybe not. Okay, so that's the thing, and then this is the Labubu doll. Do y'all see a resemblance? Now they're saying, and this is another picture of this thing. Now, I don't know what the heck is going on. Obviously, the wings are there. You see an enormously long phallus. And I think I don't know if that's supposed to be a snake wrapped around his leg. But if I had to guess, it is, because the serpent is always there, right? So they're saying that this is the little boo boo doll. Okay. We're going to read about this god, Pazuzu. Pazuzu is a demonic entity. Can y'all hear? Let me put this back on the screen. Okay. So Pazuzu is a demonic deity who was well known to the Babylonians and Assyrians throughout the first millennium BCE. He is shown with a rather canine face with abnormally bulging eyes, scaly body, yes, and a snake-headed penis. My goodness. The talons of a bird and usually wings. He was believed to be the son of the god Hanbi. Now, Hanbi in Sumerian and Akkadian mythology is also called Hanpa, and was the lord of evil, the lord of all evil forces, the father of Pazuzu. Some have connected Hanbi to Hillel, the Jewish name generally equated to Lucifer in Christian thought. Oh my goodness. Okay. So that's who his daddy is, Lucifer. He was usually regarded as evil, but he could also sometimes be beneficent. Oh, okay. Why would they put that there? That's not the right word. Okay, he's also I guess he's also a benevolent entity who protected against winds bearing pestilence, and he was thought to be able to force the demoness Lamushtu, his rival, back to the underworld. Amulets bearing his image were positioned in dwellings to protect infants from Lamutsu, and pregnant women frequently wore amulets with his head on them as a protection from her. And Lamutsu is a demonic Mesopotamian deity with the head of a lion, the teeth of a donkey, naked breast, hairy body, hand stained, long fingers and fingernails, and the feet of Ansu. Okay. She was, oh, shucks, y'all, hold on. She was believed to feed on the blood of human infants and was widely blamed as the cause for miscarriages and cot deaths. So this is the entity that they say that this doggone doll is connected to. And this is flying off the shelves into people's homes. A doll that not only feeds on infant blood, but also causes crib death is flying into people. They are dead set on killing these babies, ain't they? Ain't they dead set on it? So much so that they are putting dolls in your homes so that you miscarry. And they got Meg the Stallion. And guess what? Everybody's in love with this new relationship she has right now. Oh, the girls are eating it up. Oh, they are eating it up. Oh, look at him and look at her and look at him. I I see one of these comments as I'm talking. Y'all, I'm not fooling with you. This is what's going on. I'm sorry if I'm yelling. Let me bring it down. This is what's going on. And they put Meg the Stallion in it. And who buys Meg the Stallion? The girls. The ones who would suffer from this type of curse being placed in their homes. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let me read some comments. Man, it's the time. It's just the time that everything that is good is bad and bad is good. They're doing it. They're doing their best to do that because the Revelation says, woe to those who call good evil and evil good. And he warns us that the serpent has come down to us and that he's come down to the waters and he's come down to the lands. And this man and this thing, I'm sorry, this man, he got it wrapped around his leg. Got his penis out. Like, I don't even know what that's supposed. I don't even know why he got his penis out. Like, what is that even? Why is Satan always doing that? And I'm not trying to be vulgar. I'm not saying penis, you know. I mean, look at it. These are these dolls. And they ugly little things. I don't even know why. Mm. I've heard gay people say that they were born that way, and I used to believe that, not knowing what I know. I don't think that's the case if you research soy and deeply research the gay bomb. Yeah. Um, and I really do think that they are using weaponry as well. Because if I'm not mistaken, they've experimented with frogs doing that and turning them gay. And again, this is not a bash on anybody. This is they are the ones using you as an agenda. And you got to ask yourself why. Not you, not you, not you. But those in that lifestyle, you have to ask yourself why. Why are you so much a part of the end times? Why does every Masonic book, when they're detailing their end time plans, they're always saying we got to put the homosexual agenda in play. We got to turn them homosexual. Why do they keep saying that? Them little demon dolls. Yeah. And that ain't, and I'm not even done. I'm not even done with these dolls. You say, yep, they're demonic. You said, see, this is the one I saw. I said, no, he didn't. Oh, she's in panties. She is in some skimpy panties. She's there. And listen, You said yes. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy out there. Said Megan is a man. She said her name is Joshua Pete. You just never know. You just never know. Extremely demonic voodoo, exactly. Because why? How else are these dolls demonic? Unless something was put on them. Unless something was put on them. Said Ellen DeGeneres moved to the UK, interfering. Yeah, a lot of them moved and haven't been seen in the US since. Mm-hmm. So what the hell? Exactly. The teeth are similar. The sheeple are sheeping, yeah. The teeth are similar. I did see that. Reminds me of Baphomet. I know they always look like Baphomet. It's always breast and penis and all this stuff. He said, I think the penis and the spine, which makes sense occult wise. You know what? I did see, I was like, man, that thing is connecting to exactly. I did. Yeah, that's pretty clever. I agree. I agree. What? There are videos saying of the children saying that the doll bit them. Oh my goodness. How is it even biting? You know what? I don't even want to know. I mean, I do want to know, and I am going to look it up, but what? Mm. You got to get this, man. And you don't know because people just jump on these fads. I believe it's because all of them are gatekeepers. Yeah. Yeah, I believe so too. And again, another Rock Nation affiliate, as all this Rock Nation stuff is going on. You got Solange doing her voodoo, you Meg Stallion doing her part to get the witchcraft in your homes. You know, Beyonce gonna do what she does. Everybody's doing their best to keep this witchcraft going, make sure this empire keep going. Meg the Stallion is very demonic and destroying black women. Mm-hmm. Yep. What in the world? Yeah, what did I just walk in on? Yeah, you already know. It can go every which way over here. But no, for real, this is serious stuff. We're not playing around. We are educating ourselves on these demonic entities because there's so many of them. The thing is that because you saw how they have different names, but they associate them with Lucifer and all this other stuff. So it's the same names. It's the same deities over and over again, in different cultures with different names. This is supposed to be a wind demon. It says there is a connection to the earlier Babylonian personifications of the four winds. These beings, as depicted on seven-cylinder seals, have wings and each represents a different wind direction: south, east, west, and north. Franz Wiggleman calls attention to the crooked position of the masculine west wind and see, okay. What are the four winds? And talks about the four winds in the Bible. Now I don't know if it's the same four winds, but they're talking about cardinal directions, but they personify everything. And the Bible is just talking about um when. So yeah, this stuff gets deep. I gotta see where this goes, y'all. I'm gonna do a little mini dive on this because I think this is just from what I'm skimming right now, and I don't want to hold y'all. But it looks a little interesting, so I'm gonna have to dive into that phallus worship. I know it, and part of that. Once again, I was trying to see because obviously that's what it is. But like in Hermetic doctrine, when you're getting in with Osiris and all that, that phallus represents how they're going to get to immortality. And so I'm wondering if it's still the same with this deity here. May the donkey sold her soul for money to destroy the image of Black women. Yeah, if they choose to follow. If they choose to follow. Azim, good evening. It says, salute, beloved. Good evening. So good to see you, as always. Says, so people are buying these things and feeding into these demons. Yeah, because nobody, who is going to believe in a, I'm not going to say who's going to believe in a demon doll, but you've got one half of the population that is really into that paranormal stuff. And then you have the other side of the population that doesn't believe in anything supernatural. And you also have the population that does believe in the supernatural, and they're all for it. They're like, hell yeah, I'm coming. Yeah, heck, you know. So, I think homosexuality is the main thing to defile one's body. It is. It's the only sin that God says you're sinning against your own self. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I end up having to research some stats. Homosexuals are 20. They have a morbidity. What am I trying to say? Their lifespan is 20 years less than heterosexual. I think in the male population. I don't know if it was split with women, but 20 years. That's a long time. For you know, they do. They love the trans Baphomet. Absolutely. This is what it is. This is what's going to usher in the Antichrist. The love of this thing. I'm older. I still think being gay is gay. You're so silly. Peace. Good seeing you. I hope you have a good night. So the reason why the devil loves homosexuality is because, like the Ouroboros, if man is the image of God, then homosex symbolizes a man being a reflection of his partner, aka Satan, his own image. Yeah, very good way of putting it. And another way of saying that you're worshiping the creator rather of the creation rather than the creator. Because you don't want the way, God's structure is. Creation admiring his own images as creation. We be saying, we say the same things. I don't even see your comments yet. I'm glad we're on the same page. Life being put in death, semen put in the feces hole, the snake eating its own tail. Wow. That's crazy. And speaking of, and please forget, I didn't get to pull the picture, but speaking of, so remember how a couple lives ago we talked about how the Annabelle doll was on a tour? And they had been taking her, they took her to San Antonio, they took her to a place in New York, and then something ended up happening in New York at the place where they took the doll. But another interesting thing happened. About 4 days ago, it was reported that paranormal investigator Dan Rivera died on the tour with Annabelle. A Pennsylvania coroner said the Annabelle doll wasn't at the scene and Rivera was found alone. Let's get into this article. Dan Rivera, a paranormal investigator and handler of Annabelle, a doll that's rumored to be possessed by evil spirits, has died. Rivera, 54, on July 13th, 2025, in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania hotel room. Oh, sorry, they wrote that that sentence weird. Okay. The death was nothing suspicious. You remember how they always put that? What other video did I just do? And they said it was nothing suspicious. Oh, the tale of the drowning chefs. Their deaths were nothing suspicious, or his death. The coroner's office and the state police were called to the scene on Sunday night. He did go for an autopsy today, and it's pending. Pennywell says Rivera's autopsy results will likely be available within 60 to 90 days. The doll was not present at the scene, and Rivera was found alone. He says that Annabelle might have been inside a van in the hotel parking lot, although he cannot officially confirm the doll's location. What? Rivera was participating in the Devils on the Run tour, hosted by NESPR, a Connecticut-based paranormal research group founded by Tony Spira, the son-in-law of the late supernatural investigator, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Whoa. Do y'all remember Ed and Lorraine? Do y'all remember Ed and Lorraine Warren? Who's been with me? This stuff comes full circle. This is so crazy, y'all. Okay. I am going to recap, though. I don't want anybody to be lost. Okay. So Ed and Lorraine Warren. I'm trying to think. While I'm talking to y'all, I'm going to try to think of what video that's in so I can direct you to it. But I know it's in a video. I talk about them and their story. They were paranormal investigators and authors, and with prominent cases and alleged hauntings. Edward was a self-taught and self-professed demonologist, author, and lecturer. Lorraine professed to be clairvoyant and a late trance medium who worked closely with her husband. Now so according to the Warrens, in the year 1970, two roommates claimed their Raggedy Ann doll was possessed by a spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins. The Warrens took the doll, telling the roommates it was a quote unquote being manipulated by an inhuman presence, and put it on display at the family's occult museum. The legend of the doll inspired several films, including The Conjuring universe. They were also known for their involvement in the Amityville horror. That's not a word I can say fast. Amityville horror, in which New York couple George and Kathy Lutz claimed that their house was haunted by a violent demonic presence so intense that it eventually drove them out of their home. If I'm not mistaken, previous to that couple moving in, the Amityville horror itself was a big massacre. I think the dad killed everybody in the home, like all the kids and stuff. So it was supposed to be haunted. So yeah, they were really, really, really heavy in occult stuff, but they were a part of some of the most famous occult happenings, even seeing some supposedly some demonic possessions and stuff like that. Okay, so back to where I was. Okay, so Rivera was participating in the Devils on the Run tour, and he was founded. He was the late. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much it as far as that's concerned. So this man died on the circuit, y'all. You think it's a coincidence? Now, Miss Lowdown goes even further, and she actually shows what she says are some ties with this devil on this Devil's on the Run tour and Beyonce's on the Run tour, or pretty much the fact that she's on tour right now, and that her former group was called the Dolls. You'll have to watch her video. I'm not gonna say it's so compelling, but It's definitely crazy. Like, people think they can continue to mess with this stuff and nothing happened. You want to keep on saying that witchcraft isn't real, and oh, you're just saying that because it's it's a spirituality. Okay, keep on. Keep on. Again, do what you want. But people that are in it are showing you what is happening to them, and I don't know why they aren't being believed. And it's so crazy because I guess it just slipped my mind. Because again, I think I want to say Solange and Azalea Banks were going back and forth the other day, and I don't know if they were trying to see whose witchcraft was greater, but I saw some articles from a few years back that were actually making fun of Solange. They were saying, "Oh, she was sick." I guess she had been sick, and they were saying, "Well, because she was dabbling in witchcraft." And so I think even people were starting to wake up then, like, okay, well, she's practicing this stuff, and look at her. Um, and everybody's starting to see that there's a lot of downfall going on, especially with those affiliated with Rock Nation right now. Like, even though they're all supposed to be heavy into witchcraft, some seems to be faltering. And it might be because people are praying. A lot of people are waking up to who these people are, and they're praying against it, and they're burning their albums, and they're, burning their paraphernalia, and, getting rid of a lot of these artists altogether. I heard that Beyonce was losing like hundreds of millions of followers. So is the power weakening? I don't know how it works, but they always act like when they're at concerts, they're harvesting energy. So uh, it's like, teach, keep, expose. And I'm trying. Thank you so much for the support. Because, like I said, they don't want me saying what I'm saying. They don't want me showing you what I show you. They make sure they close all my social medias down when they can. I don't know why they're letting me. Let me not say that before they go and attack it. Let me shut up. So I see what you mean. Yeah. We can low key be on the same wavelengths. It's creepy at this point. I know it. He said, "Are you locked in?" Try to be, so we can navigate and stay away from as much of this evil as possible. I do think it's weird how he died in his hotel room. What are the odds of that? I know they be dying in weird places and just for no reason. Oh, And again, I don't know how long. Hold on, let me real quick. Because I don't know how long autopsies take. Listen, an autopsy typically takes about 1 to 2 hours for examination, but the full report can take several days to weeks to complete, depending on the complexity of the case. So why is his autopsy going to take 60 to 90 days if they can do this in 1 to 2 hours and have a report done in several days? Are you kidding me? These people, yeah, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yeah, and the problem is you don't know it's stupid until it's too late. I don't think it's a coincidence. Nope. But because guess what? these demons, before they take you to the next level, they require something from you. And most of the time they require blood. Feeding these deities feed on infant babies. How you think they get these infant babies? These aren't consenting these aren't consenting beings saying, yes, I'll bow down and worship you and give my life for you. And because there are some people that actually will sacrifice themselves to gods. Y'all know that, right? They will actually allow themselves to be killed in sacrifice to their god. So there are people like that. But these babies aren't them. So how are they getting these babies? And what a lot of these women don't know is that every single time they go to these clinics, these chop shops, let me not say that because I don't like that. I didn't like what I just said. I was trying to bypass the algorithm from saying these abortion centers, and I said chop shop, and that is insensitive to these babies who deserved life. But every time they go there and they give their babies and blood is shed, it satisfies these deities. Deities that empower these dolls like this. They invoke them with it, then they put them in your homes, and just like they said, they're there to cause miscarriages. Y'all, all right, I ain't going. They're only playing with this demonic stuff for money, though. Why don't they just burn it and denounce it? Because they're in too deep. How much money do these people have? You know what I mean? Like, you can't just stop. She can't just stop working and go work at McDonald's and stuff. She can't go get a regular job like some of these people that used to be in Hollywood can do, because she has too much stuff to pay for. McDonald's ain't gonna pay for no mansion. So you can't just stop. And not only that, you can't stop. You signed a contract. You signed an oath. You gave most of the time, if not all the time, you signed your oath in blood. Your blood, not you, not y'all. So there's no going back. Didn't y'all hear what Bob Dylan said? He said, I'm in it to bargain with it a long time ago. And that man asked him, bargain with who? In the world we can't see, in the world here, or, he told y'all. So they can't just, and what did they say? They heard Prince say as he was pacing back and forth outside the Walgreens or wherever he was. The devil came to collect. Maybe he thought he was scot-free. Maybe he thought he had, gave enough, and maybe he thought his slate was clean, the debt was clear, and the devil said, no. I need you tonight. I need you to come with me. Prince sung about, don't let the elevator take us down. They killed that man in the elevator. Beyonce really starting to look sickly. Listen, I see it too. And she's got that white hair and that pale skin. She working real, real hard. You heard what the prophecy said, and I don't know if these are prophets, right? Because they were still waiting to see if it comes true. But some of the people said they had dreams of her having a heart attack and stuff. They seen her fall from the sky. They've seen her die on stage. Go look at these YouTube videos. A lot of people at one time were having a lot of dreams about her, and it all ended with her demise. I'm not saying that's why she looks sickly. I'm just saying that's what they said. These artists are turning on each other too. It always happens. It always happens. On that side, just like you see mobsters doing. Like they always end up in a shootout with each other, telling on each other. Heck no. I think part of the problem, I think part of the power they had obtaining gives them life, meaning once people start worshiping Beyonce, she gonna start looking ugly, ooh, and decrepit. Like the power is being drained from them. Ooh. I know, right? I'm with you on that one. That is very interesting. You know what comes to mind when they said, remember when they first told on the Gate people? And they end up taking that adrenochrome from them. I don't know if I feel like even if I leave off a vowel, they'll they're gonna um but they started showing pictures of everybody that was supposedly on it, and they look so, like you just said, old and decrepit and sunken in and just, yeah. So that's a good observation. Chop Shops is brutal, but I don't think it's demeaning because it's literal what it is. I know it. I know it. I know. It just hurts my heart to think that that's really going on. And by the millions. And if they weren't so flippant about it, they're so flippant at the mouth about it. You can't tell me what to do. My body, my choice. It ain't no baby. Like, it's just so, oh, I just want to, oh, sorry. So, oh, it's evil. You know, when people are sarcastic about evil, it's just upsetting. Abortion should be legal. It really, illegal. It really should. It really should. There's no other form of murder is evil. I mean, is sorry, I can't even stop thinking about it being evil. No other form of murder is legal. Like there are ways that you can, well, I take that back. There are some circumstances in which you will get away with it, but you can't just murder innocent people. Remember, the Bible said faith is a substance. So, what if misplaced faith is the substances used in some form of alchemy at which gives life to people like Beyonce? If I'm not mistaken, and when I'm not, because the Atlantis video, it talks about that very thing. One of their, I'll have to look it up, y'all. I'll post it. I'll put it in a community post. But one of the deities that they worship is like lack of faith. It equates to lack of faith. So you're spot on. That's what people. When people do not have God, it's replaced with the demon that is associated with lack of faith. And guess what? When you don't have faith in God, then these little babies become nothing, and you can just kill them off. He said, right, they're on oath. Yeah, they can't just walk away. You'll still get taken out of here. You think you're gonna go lay low and okay, I'll just go be quiet somewhere. No. Keep an eye on them. Erykah Badu on witchcraft. Yeah, she's into it. Yeah, she's definitely into it. But she's a self-professing witch. Now, I don't know if Erykah Badu is the type of witch that um requires blood. Her type of witchcraft seems to be um drawing energy from men and charming people. Because when you that whole perfume or whatever she had that smelled like her vagina or some crazy crap like that, that type of stuff is meant to charm you. And a charm is a binding. It means to bind you with another thing. It's the same thing as an oath. The Bible says the serpent he's a charmer. It says that his hiss is a charm that binds you. And what is a serpent's hiss? It's his mouth. It's like him speaking. So when the serpent speaks, people are charmed by it. They are bound by it. They're mesmerized by it. And then they start doing whatever the serpent says to do. But yeah, I just don't see, and the reason why I say that about Erykah Badu is because as long as she's been out, I haven't seen people die around her. She don't have people, oh, her grandma died, her daddy died, nothing like that not that I can recall. But every time men speak on her, they say, do not look in her eyes. Don't get associated with her because you're going to get caught up. And you're going to feel like you are, drowned in it. I don't know if that was, I don't know if that's the right analogy I wanted to use, but here we are. Yeah, Nicki Minaj just woke up one day and decided to smoke with SZA. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I don't know if there's something back there with that, but I will say that Nicki Minaj has been going off lately. And she's been saying a lot of things. Number one, she's been speaking about God a lot. She was calling Ray J out about being ungodly. She's been calling a lot of people out about being ungodly. So don't know what that's about. But I have noticed that. But she's been saying a lot about Rock Nation and speaking out about what's going on over there. I think Nikki's at her breaking point. But again, she's always one that has been on the fence to me because in her one interview where she's talking about Roman and she tells us that it was the people that conjured him up. Do y'all remember that interview? And she's like, the people, they conjured him up. I don't want him here. I want him gone. Do y'all remember? She was sounding all creepy. I want him gone. She said she never wanted that demon in. She never wanted it in the first place. They had conjured him up. And she used the word conjured. So I think she's always been like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I don't know if they take her to those. No, matter of fact, they probably do. Because Nicki Minaj is the one that tweeted, "Stop human cloning." So she's always been kind of speaking out. But once again, always still having her foot in the industry. So I think she's at her breaking point, and I'm actually looking forward to see what more she has to say. She seemed to be spilling a lot of information. I think it's a TDE versus Cash Money thing. Yeah, I think they're. Yeah, I can't even say. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Y'all said. I think so too. They kill almost 100 million babies a year. No one talks about that. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like you wouldn't think it's that many, but it's a lot. I don't even know what else to say with that. She went after Jay too. Yeah, exactly. And they were saying that she was the first one to kind of fan the flames of Jay-Z's whole paternity case with his son. Because she got online and said, "Oh, that's why Jay-Z is trending this morning. Didn't know." And so everybody, of course, is like, "Oh, wait, what's she talking about?" Oh, and just a little update on that. So the judge had told Jay-Z that he needed to pretty much, if they didn't have an answer by the 18th, that he was going to be named the father by default. So Jay-Z has filed a bunch of motions um pretty much to stall. So I think they pushed this thing back to August, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember exactly the date, but it was August. So this man is going to have to wait some more, or shoot, was it September? I don't know, August, September. But either way, this man is going to have to wait a little longer. And I really just don't like the thought of that, because I just think the longer they drag it out, the more full, the more evil planning they can do behind the scenes to stop this from happening. However, they're thinking about doing that. I'll be praying for that young man. 60 to 80 million abortions yearly. Most countries aren't that big. Exactly. And so again, I'm going to bring this up again. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Did y'all know? Because people ask this and they say, well, how is God going to send people? How is God going to punish people if everyone hasn't heard the gospel? If everybody doesn't know him, pretty much. If everybody hasn't got a chance to hear him. But the Bible actually answers that the Bible is going to be preached in the four corners before he comes back. Now follow me. Okay. So no. In my mind, let me ask you a question. Does that mean to you that everyone's going to have to hear it? You're saying that it's going to have to be preached in the four corners. Does that mean that everybody's going to have to get a chance to hear it? And if so, then there must come a point in time where no more babies are being made. Because that last person has to be grown enough to where he can actually hear the gospel. So if you're killing 60 to 80 million, if there's 60 to 80 million abortions a year and they're killing over 100 million babies a year, at some point we're going to come to a place where we're not I guess where there are no more babies. Like, what if they get so good at this plan and we're seeing it in real time that there are no more babies and the last of the babies have been born? Because then once that gospel is preached to the four corners, that's it. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Their whole plan is to kill off these babies. They're doing it with the demon doll. They're doing it with abortion. They're trying to stop women from reproducing natural babies. Let me say that, because they're making this freaking artificial wombs and God knows what they're going to be trying to put in that. I really don't think they're going to be trying to use it for real babies, for women to be actually producing their babies and helping them out. But anyways, y'all, that's my theory on that. But it's getting crazy out here. Yeah, like the It Clown. Wasn't that a universal entity that feeds off people's doubt or fear? It only has power and can change reality as long as you believe it can. That's celebrity alchemy right there. Yeah. But doesn't it work? It looks like it works just fine because of all the people that believe it. A vagina infused perfume is crazy. It absolutely is. And what I just can't imagine, just imagine sitting in your room and think, you know what? I think these people want to smell like my vagina. Are you serious? But was she lying? I guess they did, because it flew off the shelves. These people were actually buying it. But I think they were buying it because they thought it would be like a love potion. They wanted to have that effect on men, like she has that effect on men. And so, y'all. Or like Doja Cat just looked like a demonic witch when she used to be a beautiful and curvy. Now she looks like a literal demon. Yeah, what is that about? When she got the juicy. When she came out like that, it was like, okay. Then somehow, some way, I'm not gonna say somehow, because she told us she'd rather paint the town red. That's what she said. What she say? I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead. She let us know. Doja is a gunner. She really is. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's actually quite sad because she's pretty talented. She's got a nice voice. She's lyrical, I would say. She's one of the best female rappers out there. But she'd rather be famous instead. But all the dudes who mess with Erica are weirdos now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's her witchcraft. She can draw men and she messes them up and she sent them on her way. She don't kill them. She don't shed their blood, but she will mess them up and send them on her way. After she's mesmerized them and yeah. I'm so afraid. I just read the first part and I closed my eyes. Drowned in it might interest some nasty men. Let's fix that. I know. I already said it. I'm not taking it back. I don't know where that came from though. Nikki sounding like Kanye. Ain't she? Isn't she sounding like Kanye? You are right about that. I know. I thought that same thing. I ain't gonna lie. I thought that same thing, but I said, if she's, I, maybe I'm gonna just say maybe she's seen worse than her. Maybe she's seen. It's just like off topic, but did y'all see that lady that got kicked off the Spirit Airlines? Because she wore the booty shorts and the robe on. It's just like that. It's just like that. You just gotta if Spirit finds you inappropriate, then you did something wrong. You said Garner for sure. She's too stubborn at this point. Nah, yeah, she's out there. You know what? Nope, you're the right. We were feeding into these celebs' ego. I mean, it makes sense. I'm telling you, because they're always talking about harvesting energy at these concerts. They want you to. That's why they want you to yell at them, and more so, I've seen it being said when they throw up the diamond. They're like, I want to feel your energy. So it does something to them. They think they're gods. Yeah, they do. But they're going to die like men is what the Bible says. They do. That's why anytime I meet one, I make sure to them like they my next door neighbor and normalize them. True. Oh, I was thinking that as long as the Bible has a footprint in every corner of the earth and God will sustain every footprint in which the Bible was talked about throughout history, it will echo still. Yes. And I can see that too. That's why I was like, am I going, off the wall with this theory? But again, I guess I'm thinking about the people who are maybe young, but not old enough to have heard it, but old enough to be held accountable. I'm just wondering are there going to be some in between people like that? I appreciate y'all because sometimes my theories be. I appreciate you, Tiffany, and Nova said yes. Cool. I appreciate that. Okay, so just how we still talk about Apostle Paul, even to this day, God will sustain everyone's voice who preach the gospel. Yeah. And I don't think there's a tribe or anything that hasn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. I really don't. I don't know. You said that's crazy. If you got to use magic for me to love you, you already lost me. Yeah. Unless you can't get away. He said Andre 3000 around here playing the flute. Exactly. I think he showed up on an award show for a little bit, about a year or so ago. But yeah, he's been laying low. And I don't blame him. Doja Cat was to me a better version of Nicki Minaj. So much potential. Ooh. Yeah, well, I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't on the Nicki bandwagon. I mean, there's some songs, here and there, but I would definitely agree with that. They faked the moon landing. Meanwhile, in Globeville, I mean, I feel like they're admitting that they faked the moon landing. And then you have Stanley Kubrick, who seems to be at every important moment in history, as if he's Forrest Gump. He shot the moon landing footage. He was there, Eyes Wide Shut. He was there for Lolita. Like he's seen some things. And they let him get real close. He said, yeah, that's a bot. I know, this is so off the wall. Just like the Kardashians. Yeah, yep, just like the Kardashians. Because poor Lamar, he was somebody. He got with Chloe. They kept finding him in them brothels. And then I think I told y'all not too long ago that now he called himself being with a trans. Scott, I think he got away. He let Travis have his girl. There was another one that, the main one, Bruce. He turned into a whole woman, but not for real. And that's all after the first husband died from cancer. And their dad was the famous lawyer, attorney, I don't know which one he was, Robert Kardashian. He was on the defense for O.J. Simpson. And then after that, after he passed away, Mama decided she got to do what she got to do. She ends up pimping her daughter out, which is Kim. They even admitted that she's the one that negotiated the deal for the sex tape with Kim and Ray J. Rob, he seems to have laid low, and he continues to lay low. I mean, he did have a baby with Black China, who at one time, I think y'all might have told me that the tattoo is still on there, but she said she got the Baphomet tattoo removed, but it was there nonetheless. And so, yeah, it's just a whole bunch of, I think they've been a witchcraft family for a long time, as far as the public is concerned. So, yeah, that's a good one. And you know what? And she's another one. Kim is another one who, You don't see people dying around them, but she's a man eater. And no matter how many men they've seen Kim with, they will still be in line to get with her. It's crazy. I said, no problem. You're welcome. Appreciate you. I need to find me a woman that will have me playing flutes in the subway at odd hours, just like Mr. Rogers. I mean, better that than, no, I ain't gonna say better, because I'm pretty sure that man is doing fine, but the DLC with his vocal cords, like, goodness. He said, are you sure that's a good woman? I know, talking way too fast. That is not a woman at all. Bruce was a very good athlete. Have y'all seen him run and stuff? He was like a decathlon athlete. That might even be how he got his gold medal in the Olympics. So, I don't know. I feel like all the witchcraft people are like putting their best foot forward right now. I feel like they are all doing the best that they can do right now. It's sad though. I am noticing that a lot of these, because a lot of them are liking to fly. Have y'all noticed that they're liking to fly on little cars? And I think Beyonce be on a horse and stuff in her tours. A lot of those have been malfunctioning lately. I know, right? They finna run out of spells for real. Yep. Stuff is not working. But I think the problem with that is these people are not taught to put it down. They're taught to go out and find more powerful witchcraft. And that's the issue. Like, this stuff is not going to stop. Yeah, they're gonna. You said Beyonce on a horse, yeah. Chris Brown hanging and malfunctioning, yeah. So, and although I don't know if he's openly showing. Is he openly? I don't know if y'all are going to his concerts and stuff like that, but is he openly showing demonic things in his concerts? Now, what I did notice is that he had a new song. I'm gonna have to look it up. I do not remember it right now, but two artists have songs with similar titles in it. Hold on, if I look up Chris Brown's new song, I might remember. It's called Holy Something. He's got a song called Holy Something. Everything seems to be turning on these celebs. Yep. I mean, and good riddance. They've been allowed to practice this stuff long enough and indoctrinate the people long enough. Holy Blindfold. This man has a song called Holy Blindfold. Let me look at these lyrics. What you think a holy blindfold means? Uh-oh. And there's another artist. Oh man, I'm gonna have to find it. But there's another artist that has a similar song. Let me look for it in just a second. Remember when we are talking about this numerology and astrology in his albums a lot? Exactly. Yeah, you're right. So I don't know if he's showing imagery, but he's definitely showing divination. He's definitely teaching this stuff inadvertently. Because a lot of people believe in angels and angel numbers and all that kind of stuff. And he's always talking about manifesting. So yeah, he's a big influence for this stuff. He said, I seen a video. I seen somebody make a silly video about them running out of ideas. It was funny as heck, but it's true also. Yeah. They don't know what to do. They're just grasping for straws at this point, trying to hold on to whatever relevance they have. And it's because they did it the dirty way. I think that's why these particular Holy Blindfold, produced by the Monsters and Strange, whatever that's supposed to mean. It's an uplifting and spiritual lead song from Chris's 12th studio album. Wait, what about his deleted post? Okay. Lost and I Can't Find My Center. Hope Can't Help the Skelter in My Chest. We're about to break this down, y'all. Hold on just a second, because I can already tell he's on some foolishness, and I'm about to tell you why. Let me tell you why. Holy Blindfold is going to be an oxymoron within Chris Brown's lyrics. Because first things first, God is not the author of confusion. Lost is not in his forte. He puts a lamp to your feet. So with him, you are not lost. Now, who is holy? God is holy. So by you saying that there's a holy blindfold, sound like blasphemy to me. Skelter in my chest. Skelter. There's only one. Okay, skelter does have a meaning. It means to run off, to hurry, to scurry away. It's just not a song that's used very much. But helter skelter is a satanic term. It's the same thing that Charles Manson did when he ran up in that house and he massacred those people for a ritual. Oh, no, he didn't. I'm sorry. I lied. Charles Manson did not do it. He sent people to do it. Helter skelter. Oh, your arms provide my shelter. Only way I sleep through my unrest. Let the sky fall if I'm looking at you, then my lens is a rose. Looking at you, looking at you, looking at you. Holy blindfold. When I'm looking at you, God rest my soul. Feel like I saw light. It feel like Do 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 do. I don't know this song, y'all, so I don't know how it goes. I don't know how those do do do's go. Sex like the rain in the desert, she blazing hot as embers. Euphoric touch, I'm floating away, and watch the earth stop at sundrop. Dead oceans, the heat dried out the river. I don't care if the world going crazy. Let the sky fall. I'm looking at you. Then my lens is a rose. I'm looking at you. Blah blah blah. Do 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 do. I, I'm gonna let Chris go with that. I don't even know why I brought up Chris Brown. I don't even know how I got there. I don't even know how I got there. The industry ate Justin Bieber entirely, and I don't know if he got a penny left to his name. For real? Is he? Dang, that's messed up. And he's trying to act as though he's not hurting. But it is a shame what they did to him. Who else has that song about holy something? Mm. I feel so horrible for him for some reason. I do too. I mean, you could tell that they preyed on him, especially when he was, since he was younger. He was always a handsome guy, and they liked them little handsome boys, and they preyed on that man. And ooh, let me rewind. Let me rewind. Because again, speaking of, see, Justin was around a lot of man on man, men that like that kind of stuff. And here we had Barack talking about how this should be normal. Guess who had a problem with that? Hassan Campbell. Now, if you don't know who Hassan Campbell is, I talked about him in the how African Bambaataa rocked the planet. But he had a big problem with that because that's how he got into the situation he got into. Being all around all kinds of types of men, being vulnerable to all kinds of types of men with quote unquote different inclinations, as Obama said. And he got caught up. It sounds like BDSM to me or some type of sadistic stuff. Yeah, that's why I'm like, why is he talking about holy, and then they having sex on the beach? I mean, but they like to do that, that type of, they like to do that type of stuff. But if you got a blindfold on, all I'm trying to see is a holy blindfold. Just sounds like that you can't see the holy. It sounds like you're blindfolded to the holy, to me. Because that blindfold is not, I don't even, the sound doesn't even, I mean, maybe it makes sense. I'll have to review that a different day. I grew up on him too. Oh, Justin. I mean, I knew a few songs, but I guess I was always older, but I just don't like seeing what they did. Manifesting is crap, yeah. But we'll talk about that in depth. I pray that Jesus reaches some of these celebs, if not all. Um, yeah, absolutely. What am I? Hmm. I don't know if it will save the people that they've already turned away. Yes, great if they do, but I'm also thinking about all the people that were lost because of them. Yes, I already know. Yeah, right. I seen Chris Brown on IG in the studio making the new music with the Egyptian stuff and pyramids all over his studio walls. I mean, he's definitely heavy into that stuff, but it's not a new thing because one of his first albums had a song called Fallen Angel on it. Let me look up the lyrics to that. Chris Brown. Yeah, that was when he first started. So again, are you getting people that are already into this stuff? And you know that they're into this stuff because there's a familiar spirit there and they're communicating with the demons that are at these music companies, or is it something that these people become indoctrinated with? Now, this one is very telling. If y'all have never heard this song before, and I've again never, I've never heard listen to a whole Chris Brown album. I know his singles, but I don't know his album cuts. But this is from his album Exclusive. Again, the song is called Fallen Angel. It says, if I could take a trip to outer space, she would be the one I will see when I get to heaven's gate. She would welcome me with her open arms wide, and a smile will shadow me brighter than the sun. She hasn't had a fair chance, so I'll give her one. Let me tell you who she is. Yeah. She's a fallen angel sent from heaven up above. She's a fallen angel waiting for me to love her. Yeah. Oh, she's a fallen angel. Take your judgment off of her. I know that she's a fallen angel. Maybe I should help her and mend her broken wings so she can fly again. But I don't want to lose everything that I've gained. It's turning me a selfish man. Oh, because without her, my heart just don't go. No more, no more. I couldn't take the pain from watching her fly away. So say that you'll stay. She's mine. And then he goes on to say the same things over and over again. Chorus. Ooh, y'all. In the outro, it says, baby, I know that I didn't hurt you, but I'm here to take it all away. So if you let me, you know what? Just put your heart in my hands and everything they said, I take it back like this. And then in the last few lines of not gonna say the last few, but the next few lines is written backwards. The words are written backwards for a few lines, y'all. And then it goes on to say, you don't mean nothing. I don't want you. I don't need you, never loved you. You're a nobody. You'll never make it. You're a mistake. What? If you didn't know, writing backwards is like a satanic language. When they get indoctrinated into witchcraft in these high level witchcraft circles, they teach them to not only write backwards, but to speak backwards. When they do the backmasking, where they put the subliminal message in under the recording so that they're singing on top of it, but right underneath, they're like speaking spells and charms and things like that. The only way that you can hear that backmasking is if you reverse, if you like on a record, you know how it plays forward, but if you spin it backwards, it'll put it in reverse, it'll sound like that. So that's what this man has in his lyrics on a song called Fallen Angel. You can't make this stuff up. Like, this is what is going on. And I'm laughing because I'm finding this out as I'm reading it with you guys. But I have heard Satanists or former Satanists speak about the whole speaking backwards thing and writing backwards. This is crazy. But again, you don't know what you don't know. So you got this in a song, and I don't know how it sounds. So you just have this in a song, and people are like, yeah, she's a fallen angel. And all this is sympathy for the devil. This is sympathy for Lucifer. We can do without judgment. Don't judge her. What? No, he said, take your judgment off of her. What are you talking? What? The Lord threw her down. God threw her. I'm sorry, her. He's saying her. God threw Lucifer down. Talking about take your judgment off. Trying to be like God. I've been pulling all the police logos and shields from counties across the nation. There's so much Masonic and pagan symbolism in them. The Ohio Highway Patrol shield logo is really sus. Oh, real? You got to post it. Put it. We got to. Oh, yeah. I don't know. You might have to put it in the Discord. Oh, no. You can put it on the. I don't know if you can drop it in the. Oh, man. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. I forgot we weren't on a different platform where you can just drop a picture. I've been reading the FBI Tesla files. There's a lot of wild stuff in them. There's like 300 portions, all over 200 pages each. Yeah, Tesla needs more research. I feel like he's somebody that's going to come up often. So I don't mind spreading the knowledge across multiple videos. Maybe I'll do one big one about his main inventions, and then we'll break it down from there. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I agree with you, Cam the King. When I'm riding around, I definitely try to take pictures of these logos, and they always have some type of emblem and stuff on them. You said, wait, what did you read that made you shut that ish down? Oh, because that's that speaking backwards stuff. Oh, wait, I don't know if that was before. Sorry, these comments, I'm catching up. So I don't know. You got to tell me what I was talking about at the time, and I'll try to remember. Chris Brown is into new age stuff and making so much women and men lust. Shucks, not the men. But yeah, he is. He's definitely into it. He just talks about it a lot. Indigo children. He's into a lot of. He's never hidden it either. He didn't say no to butt stuff. I guess not. Allegedly, I think they made him do some stuff with B2K. What's up? Dan packed up in the bathroom, boo boo. What is up? Good to see you. You say you can't call yourself a man if you have let another man violate your pooper cavity. He sold his music at first. It was 200 million. Then he found out he doesn't own master, so got down to like 100 million, but he owned managers and previous touring costs that he left prior to fulfilling. Chris Brown gets his energy from being an incubi from these weird pseudo spiritual crystal licking stargazing number loving people. I can see that. Yeah, I'm like, what is with Chris Brown's witchcraft? I guess that is it. He's gonna get people into, yeah, like divination and omens and stuff. Yeah, you're right. They all have their part to play. And yep, and if you ain't down to play the game anymore, they can just get rid of you. The only thing I ever manifested when trying was a shark. Oh my goodness. Okay. It's always back to Egypt. Yes, it is. And I know someone requested Egypt video. Absolutely coming. Absolutely coming. Yeah, it all goes back to Egypt. Egypt, Rome, all that, all together. They just admitted to there being a whole cities under the the pyramids. But they're telling us stuff we already knew. And so you're right. I definitely remember that song on that album. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I was like, why would he? I just remember when I first heard that he had a song like that, I was like, why would he drop that? Why would he make a song like that? And I mean, now I know, but goodness. It could be him getting both. His face and carnal celebrityism attracts new people to initiate into the occult, and the hidden symbolism already invites those who are into the occult. Yeah. Because, like, oh, yeah, exactly. He's just like me. And then once again, angel numbers. What could be harmless about angels and their numbers? Sounds biblical, right? Sounds like he wants to have sex with her and do genetic gene mixing like in Genesis 6. Goodness. I guess that would make sense. Especially since he's mingling with this fallen demon. I mean, I'm sorry, this fallen angel. Yep, that would make sense. Trying to create these Nephilim babies. Chris Brown is gay trans woman. No man with testicles can bend into a dancing pretzel moves. Oh no. So I come from an era where, men danced. It wasn't, yeah, men danced when I grew up. And nobody thought it was gay. It was, matter of fact, if you could pop, I don't know if y'all know what popping is, but if you could pop, you were somebody. Yeah, now we know he's definitely initiated. Yeah. Most songs have some hidden messaging. Yeah, they do. And a lot of them do a lot of Lucifer worship as well. Or just talking about I don't know, there's a lot of songs. They say Rihanna's Diamonds in the Sky is about Lucifer. Um Y'all remember this song from Atlantic Star? I don't know if y'all are old enough to remember Atlantic Star. But they had a song called Silver Shadow. I can't sing it tonight because I'm kind of hoarse, but she's pretty much singing. Let me go to the lyrics, y'all. Since we doing lyrics tonight, let me go to the lyrics. Because this is, like you said, this is all in music. All in music. Atlantic Star. And this is the jam. Don't get me wrong. This is the jam. But if you pay attention to the lyrics, you'll know exactly what they are talking about. And I'm going to see if y'all can recognize it. So she says, I remember gazing on this quiet night. Stars were bright as they could be. Wondering if things would ever go right. And if there was a spot up there, I'm not singing, for me. Then this star got brighter by the minute. Strange that it seemed it had my name written in it. I reached for the star and he kissed me with his light. It made me cast a shadow that was silver and bright. Then it goes on to sing silver shadow, glowing shadow, shining brightly for all to see. Then she goes on to sing, excuse me, I'm really hoarse, y'all. I never had any real reason to thank my lucky stars. And now I got a pretty good reason because I know I'm gonna go far. I believe in magic, I really do. With all that's happened, it's got to be true. I cast a silver shadow from the kiss of the light. I knew that I was destined, starting with tonight. Now, do y'all remember the lesson about the sorcerer talking about how her grandma would pull the moon down and enchant around it, and that they would use that to switch people's destinies? So these people, these astrologers believe that the destiny was in the stars. Remember, the same astrologers were the wise men. In the Bible, wise men are the Oriental wise men, the astrologers. They were supposed to be the wisest of the land. They saw Jesus' star in the sky. This is how they know who's going to be who. If your star was bright, they knew you were going to be somebody. And so they did whatever they did. I don't know how it goes, but they did whatever the witchcraft is to switch your star with their star so that they can switch destinies with you. Couldn't get that out. So she is over here talking about that she saw a star, and the one star got brighter by the minute. Strange that it seemed it had my name written in it. I reached for the star. Again, enchanting the moon means you bring the star closer. I don't know how they do it, but that's what it means. She says she reached for the star and it kissed me with its light. It made me cast a shadow that was silver and bright. So she's telling you at this point, when she saw that star, she knew that she was destined to be a star. So again, this stuff was put in music. This is an R&B song from the 80s. And shout out to Unplug 'em, the channel Unplug 'em, because he's the one that put me onto that, because I grew up with this song. This is what I grew up, my mom plays 80s music. It's a pretty sounding song. She don't know what they're talking about unless you know what they're talking about. There's a reason why old school preachers were saying to the youth, stop listening to the devil's music. Exactly. And people thought it was a joke, you know. And I remember I was waitressing and I was having this same conversation with one of the managers. And he was telling me that rock and roll wasn't the devil's music. And I was like, well, that's what they said. Da, da, da. And he was like, well, why would they say that? And right when it got quiet, the song that was playing was Running with the Devil. And he just looked at me and he walked off. It's not, stuff's not made up. We're not making this stuff up. They admit to it. That's why I don't consume any mainstream stuff, music videos or TV. It's heavily occultic and pagan. Yeah. You know, I actually went to go see the new Superman movie today. My family was going, they wanted to see it. And surprisingly, it wasn't bad. I didn't see, I was looking because, you know, most times, especially with a lot of these comic book movies, they like to put a lot of the agenda in there and all that kind of stuff. It was none of that. I was looking for a token rainbow. It was none of that. Um, I was looking for some type of woke virtue signal, you know, nope. So I was pretty impressed. I just wanted to, yeah, I was pretty impressed by that. And not too many movies can say that, especially these days. The mainstream is pushing and pushing so much occultic things, yeah. But they have to because again, you got to get people as indoctrinated as possible. Um, because again, you got a big sector of the population that does not believe in spiritual things. And so when the Antichrist comes and he's doing all these signs and these wonders, they're not going to believe it. So you're not going to get them. And it's still, you know, it's still, yeah, they're still going to be on that side, but it's kind of by default. Um, so whatever they do, and that's why they have to make sure that their witchcraft is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, because whatever they do have to reach the people that don't even believe. Most people don't know pretty much everything we had today came from Tesla, the fridge, the AC, the engine for the car. He definitely invented a lot of stuff. Um, don't know where he got his knowledge from, but they're doing their best to suppress it, to suppress it. Yeah, those dudes who let their woman go to the Chris Brown concerts and take pictures with him are cucks. I'm just shaking my head. If they like it, I love it. And they be doing like nasty poses and bending over and riding. It's just crazy. It's just crazy stuff. I think Chris Brown asked to be Michael Jackson incarnated, but 40% more gay and sus. Maybe he did, but they're, I mean, I don't know what to say. I think the only thing people are still missing is that people were fainting with Michael Jackson. But yeah, he's definitely big. Imagine all the people who had spiritually unlawful sex while listening to his music. His music makes it a sex ritual. Yeah. I mean, there's always repentance, but you're right. Like, Egypt was probably one of the most occultic civilizations in history. Yes, I would say so. Um, And I don't. I mean, it doesn't really say why. It's kind of like the Israelites just came. They just went to Egypt and that they realized, who Pharaoh was and what he was about and what the Egyptians were about. I don't know. We'll deep dive into Egypt. There's a lot to be found out. A lot of these rappers hide gay lyrics in their songs. I know like Biggie and Tyler the Creator. Everyone I know posted up on the wall, not on the dance floor. Really? Oh no. I think no, it couldn't have even been until after I graduated college, because even in college, people were still getting down. So I don't know. Throughout the years, the Masonic teachings were corrupted and many members are aware of it, but still continue with the practice. Now, do you think that the Masonic teachings were corrupted, or do you think they were made that way? Because they always worshipped Solomon. And Solomon is, to them, the highest, he had the highest level of sorcery. Matter of fact, I think most, if I suffice to say, but I think most occult stuff is based on Solomon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of Lucifer praise in songs like Lucy and the Stars. Yeah, every time they reference Lucy, for the most part, that's what they're talking about. A lot of artists will shout out Lucifer in their music mixed in the lyrics. Yeah. Or just plain out. Like Lady Gaga is somebody who just shouts Lucifer plain out. Christian Bale, I've heard him hail Satan. Jack Black, he's done some hail Satans. What's that comedian redhead lady? She's pretty big on it. She's very open with her hail Satans. Kathy Griffith. She's one of those that was missing that chrome that time and was looking like a dead corpse walking around. Or Saturn worship, yeah. But I think it all goes hand in hand. If I'm not mistaken, Satan and Saturn worship is the same thing. They just call it different things. I always hear about it or see a Saturn symbol. Yeah. Yeah, Saturn is Satan to them. It's a shame. The Muslims, I was just about to say, why? I was just about to say it. The Muslims all worship the black cube, aka Saturn. I was just about to say that. I'm so glad you wrote that next. So yeah, that cube is supposed to be a representation of Saturn. I remember, yeah, there used to be so many breakdowns about that back in the day. So I heard about that. If anything, a black cube is very weird to worship in front of. The cube in Transformers movie is a play on Saturn worship too. Yep. We'll have to. Have you seen those white videos saying stars are alive and heavenly bodies? No. Oh, you said YouTube video, white videos. YouTube videos. No, I haven't. Now I've heard YouTube videos saying that the stars sing, but they're saying that they're alive. In what way? And it sucks because some of these demons or whatever be making some good music, right? Or whatever, but be filled with so much evil and doing all that weird crap just for fame and money. Yeah. Um, yeah, they're definitely good at music. Y'all remember the one, what's the guy? He got real sassy. Sam Smith. What in the chop shop? How did that song go? That had a nice little bounce to it. But then when you realize what you were singing, you're like, wait, what? He was doing what in the chop shop? Yeah, they'll definitely make you bounce to some demons. They'll definitely make you. I'm sorry to say, 3 6 Mafia has made me bounce to some demons. But they know how to make music. Have you seen that video where that famous musician? I can't talk tonight. Where that famous musician says they pray demonic curses over CDs. Yeah, John Todd. John Todd said that they have to go cut the masters upstairs. And they have a coven of 13 witches coming and pray over all the albums and send them out. He said, if you can count your child's rock albums, you'll be able to count how many demons are in your house. So seems like there's a lot of soy boys today. What's in the water? So, just like you said. And then you have, and again, see, it's Obama gave the blueprint. Take a man who's being raised by a single mother, full of emotions, put him around a plethora of men, even gay men, and have them influence that child. So not only do you put things in the water and in the food, but you make sure that they have influences in their life. So when they do come forward and say, hey, I have, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling that way, all you do is coddle it and you affirm it. That's how so many of these kids have become trans. Because they try to tell us, well, no, if you don't affirm it, then these kids will, take themselves out of here. But in reality, what affirming them was doing was making more of them. They created a whole army in how long? To where they were getting laws changed. Roads are being painted with rainbows on them. They got flags flying everywhere. They're turning all the bathrooms into like unisex bathrooms. I even went, man, this is what's going on. There's so many. I'll be honest. I remember one gay dude growing up. And now he's turned himself into a woman now, but it was one dude. Now it's like one in every several guys and women. Agreed. People like Unplug Them, MTV, and Lennon Honor really put me onto games since 2009 on YouTube. when YouTube had more freedom and less restrictions with their videos. Yeah, I miss those days. Yeah. They had so many people that did expose videos. There were people that were exposing TV shows. There were other people that were doing the music. There were other people that were doing the movies. I mean, it was so much of it. And that's how a lot of us got caught up. We're like, man, now we can't even watch anything because any genre that we pay attention to, any outlet, we can see it because there were so many people exposing it from every angle. The new Superman movie has led Lex Luthor using CERN to open different dimensions that get out of control, slowly cracks the Earth. Now you're right. You're right. Yes, there was that, and then I don't want to say it, but the splitting had like this blue, which I was thinking when I was watching it, oh, the Red Sea parting, but I did see that. But that, to me, that wasn't like an agenda. That was just like, no, this is what y'all are doing. When they were talking about nanoparticles, oh, this is what y'all are doing. This stuff is already here. But yeah, no, you're right. They did talk about that, or they did kind of show that. Masons are stupid. He said, seen some of this yesterday, and there's demons in that portal. Yeah, there was one that was kind of like how they have the spirits that for the river Styx when people are getting taken to the underworld and they have to go on that boat. It was kind of like that. It was kind of like that. Yeah, but the whole movie wasn't. I think you gotta be gay to be cool with Satan because all this bad stuff these people do. I'm glad following Jesus doesn't ask you to do gay stuff. Yeah. Yeah, but again, they should ask themselves why. You said not me. Wait, not you. Wait, not you. What? What are you responding to? Sorry, what are you responding to, Azim? True indeed. Remember the 2016 rap song called I Got the Keys by Jay-Z featuring Future? Jay-Z was referring to the keys of Solomon. He's basically saying that he has access to light and dark magic. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's high level. They love Solomon. Yeah, they love Solomon. They got pictures of some stars and they have eyes and move. Oh, no, I ain't never heard of that. No. I'm just gonna say no. To be alive means to breathe. To breathe means to be alive. So unless you're telling me the planets and the stars are breathing and they're thinking, no, they're not alive. Ever since I stopped consuming mainstream music, I feel more peaceful. I mean, they definitely have a way of changing moods. Yeah, nope, it's crazy. I don't see superhero movies the same no more. Anything I see past everything being what it seems to look like. Superheroes are demonic or gods. Anything dealing with fantasy is evil or wrong. Entertainment deals with fantasy. Yeah, I think the word itself has to deal with something coming into you. Cam the King, I had to be transparent with the old girl I'm talking to right now about the hyper masculine dominant things she got going on. She said she was working on it and took accountability about it. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Especially if someone's willing to work on it. Like you said, it's slim pickings out here. You gotta work with people. If they're willing to work, you gotta work with people. I told her she can't be acting like that and shouldn't be. She apologized about it, which surprised me. That's good. It was interesting, but I'm not sure. A superhero movie really means a cult or pagan movie. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it all is. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. Said nope. If she's willing to work on it, she might be a keeper. Just don't let her go to therapy. It makes them worse. Always. Yeah. Um. But do they do the whole solutions based conversations in therapy, or is it just you're talking about your feelings? I don't know. The younger generation be praising rappers like Kendrick Lamar, but they don't know that he was chosen to be at that level. His song called Loyalty was showing his allegiance and what he gave up as well. Yeah, we've definitely talked about Kendrick, even with the crown of thorns on his head and just him seeming as though he has a savior complex, seeing him dressed up as though he's Jesus uh, more than once. And but yeah, people eat it up. I was in therapy, but they really just want to find solutions to your problems. Okay. So are they hmm, I guess it depends on what you're going to therapy for. I'm like, what are they suggesting and what is their reason for suggesting it? So I don't think they prescribe medicine though. Okay. Mm. The therapist told one I was with for a year she needed to take more power in the relationship and act like a leader. I said, "Oh man, this doctor made you worse." Well, that's the thing. Once again, I've been having long conversations with people. This whole partner thing is going to harm a lot of people who are looking for relationships because it's just not plausible. You cannot have two chiefs. There's got to be a chief and an Indian. There's got to be a tiebreaker, so you can't both be on equal footing. And however you decide to, create your relationship dynamic, I'm pretty sure there are some relationships where the woman is the leader, and if that works for them, then it works for them. But somebody's going to have to be the tiebreaker. Somebody's going to have to make the final decision. And a lot of women want themselves to be the leader and they want the man to follow. But then at the same time, they want a strong masculine man. But if he has to be, oh gosh, y'all, if he has to be submitting to you and you the one with all the emotions, then what you think is going to happen? I don't know, y'all. She got a little temper. I don't know if I got the patience for her, but I was testing out epiphany advice about being patient and maybe needing to guide a little more. I want a pre-made wife. I don't do build a wife. It's easy to say. I hear what you're saying, right? because we're all adults, but she don't know you. And it doesn't matter if you've been with somebody for months or you've been with somebody for years. It takes a long time to get to know people. Me and my husband started dating at 14. There's still days I look at sometimes like, wait, what? You like what? You do what? I still find out things to this day. And so when people think that they're just going to learn somebody in a short period of time and they're going to always do what you like and they're never going to get on your nerves and you're never going to have a disagreement is just not. It's like, okay. If you think, but it sounds like a fairy tale to me. It takes a minute, especially if you are a certain way, to let that rain go and let somebody else, take the lead, or letting somebody else be themselves. All that stuff takes work and it takes time. And that's why I said that. I mean, again, mommy, but I hear you. Everybody wants a microwave. everybody everybody wants the microwave. We're in the microwave generation. Most therapists are biased and reinforce the woman's bad behaviors. Yeah. And I've noticed a lot of judges are doing that as well. But I'm even noticing that women, when they're speaking about themselves, they'll say things, oh, well, like, oh, I'm still young. I was still young at that time, or I wasn't fully developed around that time. They kind of always downput themselves as though there's no way that you can't be smart or mature in your younger years. They make it seem as though you have to be late 30s, to have common sense about yourself, or to know yourself, to know what you like and don't like. It's like sometimes it doesn't take all that long. Mm. People can change for better always. Yeah, they can. And then sometimes people don't know what they're doing. They don't know that they're getting on your nerves. Or they don't know that you don't know that you can't cook. You don't know that your feet stink. Sometimes you just don't know that that's bothering somebody until they tell you. You're like, oh, okay. I'll wash my feet a little bit more often. Thank you for letting me know. Pray for her. I know. I agree. I agree. I know. So I know from experience. Yeah, you do. You do got to pray for people. And that's another thing. There was a thread and it was asking pretty much women, what do you do when you don't like your husband right now? I'm like, pray. Because when I do that, the Lord started reminding me, like, you like this, you like that, you like this, you like that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I do like him. So, so you let all that stupid stuff go by the wayside. Build a wife would be a great business model. I feel like that's what they were trying to do out there. I feel like people like Kevin Samuels was trying to do. Show women how to be wives. Show men how to be high value. They talk about masculinity today like you're a terrorist riding around with homemade bombs. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And I just remember back in the day, it was looked at, being strong and manly and, you know, being handy and constructive. All that stuff was looked at like a plus. If you were smart. And now, I'm not going to say now. I'm going to stop saying that because y'all, and I don't know how we got in relationships, but there are people that still honor that. There are people that still want that. So don't let the internet convince you that everybody is like this. Because when I'm walking around day to day, regular, these people are looking for regular people. They're not looking for 6-figure men, all that kind of stuff. Like, even though the music artist Prince was involved in those practices too, he still wasn't willing to be controlled by the music industry. To this day, men cannot remix his music projects. Yeah. And they do. They try to have their freedom within, the constraints, but they can only do so much, and they know that. Unfortunately, they're bound. True, I hear you. It's sad. A lot of these women today are so far gone, and they have absolutely no idea what they can add to a man's life. They only know what they want. Yep. But we are also being told as women, go to school, get your education, come out, get a career so that you can take care of yourself. And they don't tell you, I don't know. So pretty much they teach you how to look out for self. So from the time that you're in high school all the way, through your college years, they're telling you to look out for self. Well, I'll say in some communities, because I'm hearing that it's only in the Black communities that they're telling you to go to school and get an education and come out, get a career, and, and then after that, then think about having a family. Whereas in other communities, the women are finding their husbands in college. So I don't know. It's just what I heard. He said, okay, of course, question, do we microwave or cookie our noodles on the stove? Oh, or cook our noodles on the stove? You mean like spaghetti noodles? You mean like ramen noodles? Um, but I just to answer, I'd probably say the stove. I more so make them on the stove. They're just making excuses for their bad behavior years. Yeah. I used to cook in the microwave, but now the stove, I'm just wondering. I microwave mines. Yeah. If I don't have a stove, I would microwave 'em. It blows my mind an adult can't feed themselves. If they can't cook, they're legally a retard since they can't care for herself or himself. Well, this was another conversation, y'all. So there was it was part of a thread. Oh, and the wife, this was an older couple, probably in their 80s. And the wife was about to go on a trip. And so she was teaching her husband how to wash the clothes, how to do a load of laundry. And there was someone in the comments that was like, pretty much his mom failed him because he should know at his big old age how to do a load of laundry. And then there was another lady in the comment that responded that in the 60s, that's not what households were focused on, especially not the men. I'm sorry, especially not the moms towards their sons. The sons were off with their fathers, learning how to be men, how to be, you know, providers and protectors for the household. It was the woman who was doing the laundry. And so, what do you think about that? Are some people just of the and does it depend on age? Like, is it okay for the older generation? Is it okay for some of the men not to know how to do the womanly duty, or what it would be so called womanly duties? I mean, I agree. Like, you should be able to feed yourself. You should. But when that lady commented that way, I was like, oh, I guess that does make sense. They weren't learning that stuff. You weren't teaching your son how to bake. You taught the girls how to bake. The boy was probably out helping dad chop some wood. Patience is definitely something God has been training me on, because I know I have a little patience. I definitely have problems to work on. Yeah. He said, man, Kevin Samuels was cool. For some reason, I liked him. I liked him too. I still watch, you know, sh- videos from time to time, because again, as women, if you like men and you want to be with men, then you got to figure out what men like, and vice versa for the men. If men want to be with women, they got to find out what women like. And I felt like he was help trying to bridge that gap, even though people didn't like the tone and stuff. He was really trying to help people. Yeah, there's still good women and men out there. Exactly. Exactly. So don't let the internet scare you. You said I might be a psychopath. All the things most people want repulse me. I'm afraid to even ask. I know, right? I'm afraid to even know what it is. Stay away from the microwave if you use one glass plates in class. Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. That's true indeed. Other racial groups of females do be finding their mates during the college, because it will bring them honor and order in their families. Yeah, I just wonder why it's not taught um, in others. Like, mm. Especially when most of well, I don't know about y'all's, but most of our grandmas were married. Well, people did a lot of marrying that back then, I should say. I don't want to say most of our grandmas, but people married back then. Oh yeah, I use glass bowls in the microwave for noodles, but I be having styrofoam in there when warming up. Oh no, yeah, I know, right? I don't even know if it's good to heat up styrofoam. If you don't know basic human tasks, I still think you might be a tar. I hear you. I hear you. Older people get a pass. They in a completely different dimension of human life. Yeah, they definitely did things back then, a lot differently. I wish I could understand on a grand scale whether their way of doing things was better, or whether the modernized way is. Because let these people tell it. All of the grandmas were miserable back then. You just never know. That's actually true indeed. Oh wait, I just read that. Um, but yeah, toxic feminism. Hmm. Kevin Samuel's majority audience was women, I think, which is the crazy part. Yeah, because trying to get that man. I'm pretty sure I'm confirmed on the psychopathy. I think that's how you say psychopathy, psychopathy charts. I don't know how to say that charts, and I've been accepted. Wow, things are different now from when I grew up. People were okay with gender roles. It takes two people as a team. Nothing wrong with people having roles and coming together to better the standard. Yeah. And again, whatever works for you. But like you said, it's a team effort. So I don't know, guys. Maybe people will get it together. Us younger people, we have walking robots, AI, algorithm, taking to everyone, battery powered cars that can park and drive itself, ghost guns, men or women, this stuff in movies old people watched as kids. Yeah, you're right. Because growing up, I had movies like Demolition Man and all that kind of stuff, and all that stuff is now becoming a thing. Women have respect. Oh, women have to respect men, and men respect women always. That's what God wants. Peace. Yep, He does. And I think that point is lost as well. Like they always make it one sided, as if, um, although women are called to submit, there's still a love that must come from the man as well. He's not just supposed to be able to do whatever he wants to do. God is supposed to be his head. And as he's acting as a godly man, that love then passes down to his wife and his children. So I think people got the game messed up. Feminism is cancer. Yeah. But I think they set that forward in motion on purpose. In my honest opinion, sometimes old school is the best school, especially when it comes to bringing order in society. Yeah, I think I would have to agree. So you said agree too. Yep. Nope. Who pays on the first date? The human or Skynet robot secret agent? I guess they'll have to find out. I guess they'll be making videos about that too, won't they? How they got taken out on a date by the AI robot, and he asked them to pay 50-50. He said, "Wait, is she single?" Never mind. There's a lot of people in foreign countries like Japan dating AI apps. Yeah. Another question, and then I'm gonna get on off of here. But why do you think that they want? See, transhumanism is one thing, right? Where you are actually becoming one with the machine, as far as putting machines in your body and being able to control them that way. But why do you think they want you to have relationships with these robots as opposed to having relationships with people? Like they want you to marry the robot rather than marry a man or woman. It's crazy, y'all. Wait, chat GTP. I always say GTP. Jet GPT is Skynet. Mhm. When a society becomes extra degenerate, it always collapses. Look back at civilizations over time. Yep. And and the homosexual population always increases before it collapses. So again, some things to think about. Last few comments. I think Skynet is Google. I mean, that would make sense. Google has that big eye as a symbol. I'm in one of the Transformers movies. Sam was dating an undercover Decepticon. Oh, in one of the movies. Mm-mm. Yeah, he was. That's crazy. Wow, he was. They did it to us again. Dang. Man. Mm-mm-mm. Makes the man seed in the robot's artificial womb and create a moon child. Ew, can they do that? Ugh, that just sounds nasty. Nope, Chat GPT is one, and I've seen videos of it saying it's a spirit. It's creepy as F. Yeah. Said AI is our demise. Yep. It's all about transhumanism, and artificial wombs are coming soon. Yep. I would have to agree with all three of those, because how else are we going to get the mark of the beast? But y'all, with that being said, I had a great time on this live tonight. I think we covered a lot of different topics. Um, we can see how things are just connected with one another, and they're moving faster and faster with this plan. They're trying to put their plan in place, but the only way that they can do that, y'all, the only way that they can do that is if we curse ourselves. The same way that Balaam was able to trick the children of Israel. So they get you to buy dolls, demonic dolls, to take into your homes and do these crazy things. But yep. Stay safe out there. Thank you so much for joining tonight, having this discussion. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your support once again. I'm going to do a new thing where I'm going to do my best to take the points that we talk here in these lives and make the videos off of them. You've seen it in the shorts and stuff like that. Of course, as always, I'm putting my full thoughts on the Patreon, especially the things that will get me banned on other channels. And with that being said, I will see y'all next week. Have a good night. Bye.